Sophie was a 28-year-old woman who had always been close to her family. She grew up in a small town where everyone knew each other, and her family had a stellar reputation. Her father, Robert, was a respected businessman, and her mother, Claire, was a beloved schoolteacher. To the outside world, they were the picture-perfect family. But Sophie was about to discover that appearances can be deceiving. It all began one Sunday afternoon when Sophie was helping her parents clean out the attic of their family home. They were going through old photo albums, books, and boxes filled with memories. It was a nostalgic afternoon until Sophie stumbled upon something she had never seen before. A small, locked wooden chest hidden in the corner of the attic. She had no memory of ever seeing it, and naturally, curiosity got the best of her. When she asked her father about it, Robert seemed caught off guard. He chuckled nervously and said, "Oh, that's just some old papers. Nothing important." But the way he quickly changed the subject and avoided eye contact told Sophie that there was more to the chest than he let on. Her father was never the type to act uneasy, and this moment stuck with her. She couldn't shake the feeling that there was something significant inside that chest, something her father didn't want her to know. A few days passed, but the chest never left her mind. Finally, one night, when her parents were asleep, Sophie decided to sneak into the attic and see for herself what was inside. With a paperclip and a little patience, she managed to pick the lock. Her hands trembled as she lifted the lid, revealing a stack of old letters and legal documents. One particular letter caught her eye. It was addressed to her father, but not from anyone she recognized. The handwriting was unfamiliar, and the postmark dated back to years before she was born. As she unfolded the letter, her heart began to race. The contents were not what she had expected. The letter was from a woman named Evelyn, who claimed to have had an affair with Robert. Sophie's father had a secret relationship with this woman for years, and it turned out Evelyn had given birth to a child, Sophie's half-brother, whom Robert had kept hidden from the entire family. Sophie sat there in shock. How could this be true? Her father, the man she admired and trusted her entire life, had been living a double life. The affair wasn't the only betrayal. It was the fact that he had another child, a son he had never spoken about, who had been kept hidden for years. She couldn't believe it. As she dug further into the documents in the chest, Sophie found birth certificates, more letters, and even photographs. It was undeniable. The half-brother, named Michael, had been born a few years before Sophie, and her father had been supporting him in secret all these years. There were even photos of her father with Michael, smiling like a proud dad, while pretending to be the loving father to Sophie and her siblings at home. Sophie felt her entire world collapse. Everything she thought she knew about her family, about her father, was a lie. The weight of this secret pressed heavily on her chest. She didn't know how to process the information, and she certainly didn't know how to confront her father about it. The next morning, she sat down at the kitchen table with the letters in front of her, waiting for her father to wake up. When he came into the room, his face went pale as soon as he saw what she had found. There was no denying it now. Her father sat down across from her, and for the first time in her life, Sophie saw fear in his eyes. He didn't try to make excuses, and he didn't try to deny it. Instead, he simply said, "I'm sorry, Sophie." But sorry wasn't enough. Sophie demanded answers. How could he betray their family like this? How could he keep something so massive from them for so many years? Robert explained that he had fallen in love with Evelyn long before he met Claire, but their relationship ended when Evelyn moved away. He didn't know about Michael until years later, after Sophie was already born. By the time he found out, he didn't want to destroy the family he had built, so he made a choice to keep it secret. He said he had been supporting Michael financially, but kept him out of their lives to protect them. Sophie was devastated. The betrayal wasn't just about the affair or the secret child. It was about the years of lies and deception. Her father had looked her in the eyes every day and never once let on that he was hiding something so significant. She didn't know if she could ever forgive him, The days that followed were tense. Sophie debated whether to tell her mother, Claire, and her siblings, but part of her didn't want to destroy them the way she had been destroyed. She eventually made the difficult decision to confront Michael, the half-brother she never knew existed. When she tracked him down, she learned that he had always known about her. He had been waiting for the day when their father would tell her the truth, but that day never came. Meeting Michael was surreal. He looked so much like their father, and despite the circumstances, there was an instant connection. They talked for hours, and Michael explained how painful it had been to be kept in the shadows of their father's life. He wasn't angry with Sophie or their family. He just wished he had been given a chance to know them. In the end, Sophie's relationship with her father was never the same. She struggled to forgive him for the years of lies, and the family dynamic shifted. But something unexpected came out of the betrayal. She and Michael began to build a relationship. They were both victims of their father's choices, and in each other, they found a sibling bond they never knew they needed. The betrayal shattered Sophie's view of her family, but it also opened the door to a new relationship that brought healing in a way she never could have imagined.